Jordan Grand Prix, based in Enstone, the only F1 team to have its home base slap bang in the middle of Silverstone racetrack, with a cool old-fashioned boy racer vibe from the time of F1 playboys such as Eddie Irvine and everyone's favourite hilarious grandpa Eddie Jordan, rest in peace. Jordan himself actually drove briefly in the 1970s and founded Jordan Racing in the early 1980s, where Jordan Ralt driver Martin Brundle competed with the 1983 British Formula 3 Championship. Martin Brundle driving for Eddie Jordan Racing in his Jordan Ralt, competing against one and only Ayrton Senna. He also ran Martin Donnelly and Eddie Irvine in F3000, both of whom graduated later to F1. In 91, Jordan Racing became Jordan Grand Prix, Eddie hiring Italian Andrea De Cesaris and Belgian Bertrand Gachot to race that year, achieving 5th in the Constructors' Championship at their first attempt. Gachot was actually sent to prison mid-season for a fight with a taxi driver, and a little-known German called Michael Schumacher replaced him, making his F1 debut. Jordan's first car was a bright green, patriotic green, sponsored by Irish Aer Lingus and 7-Up soda, although they are probably more commonly known for their later bright yellow Buzzing Bees cars. As well as Schumacher, the early 90s Jordan team included giving F1 seats to Roberto Moreno, Alessandro Zanardi, Mauricio Gugelmin and Stefan Medina, and one of the most popular and long-running F1 drivers, Rubens Barrichello, also got his debut for Jordan in the 1993 season, alongside Eddie Irvine, fellow Irishman with an already strong relationship with Eddie. The early 90s period for Jordan was characterised as a solid upper midfield team, although the kind of success had by Schumacher when he moved to Benetton in the same period in the early 90s was not quite replicated at Jordan. They had podiums and good points finishes, but were never really a championship contender. In 97, Jordan hoped to make progress, but despite some good results from drivers Ralf Schumacher and Fisichella, the season was mostly remembered for the pair. Ralf and Fisichella spectacularly colliding at the first corner of the European Grand Prix. Eddie was not pleased, and he wasn't shy about letting his drivers know. Fiery side that also came out a bit later when he sacked Frentzen midway through 2001. 98, typified by a classic Damon Hill win in the rain in Spa, with teammate Ralf Schumacher close behind in second place. Although bigger teams had dropped out in this rain-affected race, it was only the skill and fortitude in difficult conditions from the former world champion that brought Jordan home for this win. And this was around the start of the time of Jordan's golden era, probably their best era, which was from 99 to 2001. The bright yellow cars with Benson and Hedges advertising, some very aggressive shark nose style chassis regardless of livery. An angry Snake in 97 turned into the Angry Hornet, just like an old World War II fighter plane. And Jordan at times were F1's third team. I recall this period, and there was a real sense that Jordan could have taken that step up and actually started challenging Ferrari and McLaren in 2002 or 3. One amusing phrase at the time was the Trulli train. Trulli was a qualifying specialist. He could put in a really quick one-lap time, but the Jordan often didn't have the pace over the race for whatever reason. There would be a full train of midfield drivers stuck behind Trulli. So unfortunately, the Jordan Mugen Honda from 2001 turned fast into disaster as money began to run out and Eddie Jordan was strapped for cash. F1 is not a money-making business, it's an entertainment business for the uber rich and advertising for large car companies. However, one bright final result in 2003, as the team was slowly moving down the grid into obscurity, Fisichella winning a rain-affected Brazilian Grand Prix where many other drivers spectacularly slipped out into the wall, or Schumacher skidding on a stream that had developed in the track. This was a brilliant win and just as exciting and well celebrated by the Jordan team as Damon Hill's unlikely win at Spa in '98. That was pretty much it for Jordan. They pulled out the sport in 2005, becoming Midland. But there was one more bright moment for Jordan. This one definitely somewhat of a gift. In 2005, just months before they sold and changed name, Ralf Schumacher's Michelin tyre delaminated in one of the sessions before the United States Grand Prix, and all Michelin runners were therefore banned on safety reasons. I've got a feeling that it wasn't necessarily as bad as was made out, and perhaps anyway, that was a complete debacle, but good for Jordan. It was a good weekend because Thiago Monteiro managed to get a podium as only Bridgestone runners competed, meaning Minardi were behind them and Ferrari in front, third and fourth place. So Jordan finally collapsed at the end of 2005. Eddie was forced to sell the team, but what a run they had. Definitely a cool team and one that will be remembered at a golden age of F1. Jordan left a great legacy in motorsports and popular culture. British and indeed Irish success story that showed a committed underdog could be rewarded. In later years, Eddie was hilarious as a pundit on BBC F1 footage, and he and Jordan will be sadly missed.